been a busy schedule, and the ARCA series is on the move again, this time to the Chicagoland Speedway. It's once again time to park the haulers and unload the racing machines, wipe off the dust, and tighten up the bodies, pull out a set of fresh stickers, and check some tire pressures. Greasing up the car and greasing up your pants are part of the job for these guys. Week after week, these competitors gear up and put their cars to the test just so they can be the next to find their way to victory lane. With 11 new drivers making it to victory lane for the first time in their ARCA careers, it's always anybody's race. Will there be another first-time winner today? The Ansell Protective Gloves 150 starts now at the Chicagoland Speedway.
Friday night racing on speed. With just 6 races left in the season, the top 5 in the standings are separated by 50 points, and each has been to victory lane in 2010, except 9-time series champ Frank Kimmel. And Kimmel, the only one in the field who has been to victory lane at Chicagoland. Welcome to the ARCA Racing Series presented by Remax and Menards. It's the Ansell Protective Gloves 150 on speed. Beautiful night for racing. The drivers are all strapped in. Let's go down for the command.
Race fans, are you ready? It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome Chief Strategy and Global Marketing Officer for Ansell, Scott Corriveau, as he gives the command.
On behalf of the 10,000 employees around the world for the last 100 years, have been providing safety solutions and glove protection. Drivers, start your engines.
The engines are fired. The crews are stepping back over the wall now. It's all in the hands of the guys behind the wheel. Hello, everyone. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, and Rick Allen with you for this edition of the ARCA Racing Series. Now, with just 6 races to go in this season, Phil, we have got an unbelievably tight points race.
As you mentioned, only 50 points separate first through fifth. These guys run on all sorts of different racetracks, and they come here to a 1.5 mile fast oval here at Chicago. Craig Ghost came in here 3rd in points. He got the pole. In the ARCA series, they give bonus points for qualifying first, second, third. Now he's going to start the race leading in points. He came in here 3rd, but what a great fast racetrack and a real racy racetrack that they're going to continue this battle tonight.
Yeah, I love the back straightaway here at Chicago. It's looped. It just swings out a little bit. And you know what that allows you to do, Rick? You can exit turn 2 with a lot of momentum because you're swinging out. And then you get to go down into turn 3 with that same big angle. So big speed here at Chicago and side-by-side racing. This is going to be a very entertaining match here tonight.
Should be a lot of fun. Up front, it is Craig Ghost. He was the Menards pole winner presented by Ansell, and we have an opportunity to talk with Craig Ghost. Phil, I think you've got his radio frequency.
Yeah, let's try him. Hey, Craig Ghost, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You have a copy?
Got you loud and clear, Phil.
Craig, we just talked about the fact you came in here 3rd in points. 10 points out of the lead. You got the pole, 15-point bonus. Now you're leading the points. What's it going to take to stay up front tonight?
I think we got a good car. These guys at E-Sharp Racing put a good car together in this 81 Greenville Toyota Camry. So it's the same car that we ran so well and led all those laps with in Michigan. And we got caught in the pits with a lap, got a lap down on that caution. So hopefully we can do the same thing minus the caution and go ahead and finish this one out.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you.
That is our Menards Pole Award winner presented by Ansell, and we were able to talk with our pole winner. Now let's head trackside to Adam Alexander.
Thank you, Rick. And often in auto racing, we talk about the importance of momentum. And one driver that has plenty of that is driver number 60, Patrick Sheltra. A week ago, he had an amazing late race rally, getting his second career win on the dirt at Springfield. And apparently it carried over here to Chicago. Earlier today, he recorded his best ever qualifying run, starting on the outside of the front row. And by doing so, he gets 10 bonus points. He finds himself now only 35 points out of the championship lead behind Craig Gose. He's back at a place where he made his career ARCA debut back in 2005. He should be good here tonight. Jim?
And Adam, the only driver in the field that's won here in Chicagoland is Frank Kimmel, the 9-time champ, won from the pole here in 2003. Now keep in mind that Frank has a lot of laps at this racetrack, more than any other race driver, but keep in mind one very important thing. He's 5 points out of the lead. How is he going to make sure he can get his 10th championship in ARCA? For the first time in recent memory, Frank Kimmel and his brother Bill have brought in some outsiders to pit the car over the wall. The OTW boys were here. They think they have faster pit stops. That's where they're lacking. They're going to try to make that a 1- or 2-stop race today for Frank Kimmel's first victory in nearly 2 seasons. Frank Kimmel, again, just 5 points out of it, will race his race, but I'm certain that yellow 44 will be at the front when it's all over with. Rick?
Great, Jim. Thanks a lot. Amazingly enough, we talk about how close the points are in this series. Well, the reason for that is because we have had so many different first-time winners. It started off the season with Justin Marks when he won at Palm Beach. There are numerous racetracks where these guys have really risen to the top. Palm Beach, Salem, Talladega, Toledo, Pocono, Michigan, Iowa, Mansfield, all racetracks where we have had first-time winners in this series.
You would think we would run out of people that were potentially able to win that first race, but it hasn't seemed to be that way.
11 first-time winners, 13 different winners in the 14 races.
Very versatile to be the champion of this series, and that's a good picture of the versatility needed.
Through the 3 racetracks, you take a look at the point standings. Joey Coulter has a 25-point lead over Tom Hessert, and again, this is the final racetrack in the Bill France 4 Crown Award.
And what that means, if Joey Coulter were to finish in the top, anywhere in the top 5, no matter what anybody else does, he will get that Bill France 4 Crown Award.
Our Remax starting grid rolls across the top of the screen. Again, Craig Gose will lead the field to the green flag. Patrick Sheltra, who's 4th in the points, will start on the outside. Now we want to take a look at our ARCA spotlight. We go to Jim Trado.
Starting 6th is the driver that has won 2 races this year. Only one driver has won twice. It's Steve Arpin in the 55. That Mike's Hard Lemonade Toyota was the winning race car as a Chevrolet at Texas earlier this year. After Michigan, they had a very fast run, and the Chevy had motor issues. The team itself decided to switch over to Toyota and the Triad Power for here at Chicagoland. They think they have a very strong chance to win here in this 55 to become the first 3-time winner this season. Who you picking, Adam?
How about Grant Enfinger, Jim? He starts in the 8th position tonight, despite the fact that they changed an engine early this morning. And coming to Chicago, bittersweet for this driver out of Alabama. The reason why, he nearly won here a year ago, finishing 2nd to eventual series champion Justin Lofton. This team is confident about tonight. He's finished third twice this year. He hopes he can better it by a couple here this evening, Phil.
Adam, I want to take a look at Justin Marks. Justin right now comes in here 7th in points, about 135 points behind our leader, Craig Ghost. He has a road racing background. As a matter of fact, last year, he was one of the drivers in the winning GT car in the 24 Hours of Daytona. He ran full-time in the ARCA Series back in 2007, finished 5th in points. He got his first career win on the road course at West Palm Beach earlier this year. Justin Marks is going to do double duty this weekend. He will leave here right after the race and go to Montreal to run the nationwide race here at Montreal on Sunday. And Justin Marks will start this race from the 5th position. Mikey?
Phil, let's take a look at Tom Hessert III. This 24-year-old from Cherry Hills, New Jersey is going to roll off from the 13th spot in his Cherry Hills Classic Cars Dodge. He's made 59 ARCA starts, got his first win this year, and his record this year also includes 10 top 10 finishes. Racing runs in the family for Hessert. His father is a sports car champion, and Hessert's raced in the 24 Hours of Daytona. He hopes he can join Steve Arpin as the only other 2-time winner in ARCA in 2010.
I want to take a look at our Ansell track description.
We talk about this racetrack. As Mikey said, the backstretch is curved, so you really get a nice run off of turn number 2. These guys will not be able to run wide open, but it's going to be awfully darn close to it. Our qualifying speed's up over 175 miles an hour here.
The banking at 18 degrees makes it for 2 wide racing through the turns. We take a look at our Ansell Protective Gloves 150 race analysis.
These guys are going to run 100 laps. Pit road speed is 45 miles an hour. They can run between 60 and 70 laps for their pit win. And Phil, this is the most tense part of the night. They don't know what they've got yet, and they're going to barrel down into turn 1, try to run mostly wide open through their side-by-side. Ooh, it's going to be good.
We're going to find out. Green flag in the air. We're underway from Chicagoland.
I told you.
Benny Chastain already with problems in the 75 car.
Into the infield grass goes the 75 of Benny Chastain, and
mistake
right to pit road in his pit stall. Not sure that was intended, but it worked out for him. Field stays green, side by side for the lead. Craig Ghost on the bottom, Shelter on the high side, and looks as though Ghost is going to have the advantage when he comes out at turn number 4.
Look at Casey Roderick run right up in the middle of those guys, trying to get them both. Will have to settle for the 3rd spot as he rolls across the finish line.
First time ever on a 1.5 mile racetrack for Casey Roderick. He just turned 18 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Man, Phil, I got off the airplane this morning in Chicago, and the whole Casey Roderick fan club got off with me. There must have been 15 people wearing bright red shirts with Casey's name on them, and they're really looking forward tonight. They know he's got a fast car, and this 18-year-old kid likes to hammer down.
Craig Ghost,
what you see there, he's sideways already.
Coming into this race, 3rd in the point standings, and then after qualifying, when he won the pole, he got 15 bonus points for that. Jumped him to the top of the standings, but by only 5 points over 9-time series champion Frank Kimmel. Now we got side-by-side racing as Justin Marks goes to the outside of Casey Roderick.
Great move by Justin Marks. You talk about Casey Roderick getting loose a little bit off of turn number 4. When he did, that hurt his momentum a little bit. Justin got a good run around the outside, cleared Casey getting down at turn number 1.
Casey's driving awful aggressively, though, for just a couple of laps in here. He's got a lot to learn, and he looks like he likes learning sideways, because he didn't hesitate of firing it back down into turn 3. It just come off there the lap before sideways. Hopefully he can keep up with that thing early in the going. It should get better and better. The grip should improve as these guys race along. But right now, these things are really loose. You can see them moving around out there, Adam.
And we talk about Justin Marks. He started the year very impressively, led the points for a few weeks, but 3 consecutive finishes outside the top 20 have had him fall in the standings. He would like to rally back here tonight, and he's got some issues on the track as we see a battle up front.
And Craig Ghost is that leader now going into turn number 1. Anything about Craig Ghost, he said, I am very confident about this race car. His crew chief, Johnny Allen, and the number 81 Greenfield Toyota said, we want the lead. We love clean air. If we have to have clean air, we'll make him race our race.
We saw Patrick Shelter take the lead away from Craig Ghost. Now we see Mikey Kyle in the 25 slide up the racetrack, almost get into Casey Roderick. It looks like there could be some type of fluid on the racetrack, and we heard ARCA officials saying the potential is the 81 may be leaking some fluid.
Well, that would be devastating for Craig Ghost, our point leader, to get black flagged for something leaking.
What about this battle? These guys are just all over the place. Like you said, Rick, if there isn't something on the track, these guys look a whole lot like there is. They're sideways.
Steve Arpin currently in the 7th spot. We saw him looking to the inside of the 25. of Mikey Kyle, not able to make that pass.
You can hear how much these guys are out of the throttle in these ARCA cars. Remember, these are very similar cars to the old Cup cars. As a matter of fact, a lot of these cars are ex-Cup cars. About 850 horsepower under the hood of these cars.
Field continues to make its way around the 06 of Mike Harmon.
Here comes Casey Roderick back to the bottom again. There he goes.
Sideways as Roderick, into the wall he goes.
Oh, and another crash. Hard into the outside
Chad
wall.
McCumbee, Mikey Kyle involved in this. But it was the 51 of Roderick that started it, and then just in front of him, Mikey Kyle, Chad McCumbee. As the field makes its way through, we're under our first caution.
We were talking about Casey Roderick and how loose that car was and how aggressive he was driving it, and unfortunately he got away from him.
Well, you had to be able to see that one coming. I mean, he was just being way too aggressive for the car handling the way it was. It just wasn't able to stick in the back. He kept challenging it, and as he came off turn 2 there, tried to make a move down to the inside of the racetrack, and away it went.
Tough break for Chad McCumbee.
He hit hard right into that outside wall, and there isn't a safer barrier back there, I don't believe, is there, Phil?
See, Casey goes to the inside of Justin Marks around the lap car of the 48 of James Hilton. You see him just get a little bit loose right there on the inside. Then he makes contact with the outside wall. Mikey Kyle just turned hard left to try to avoid Casey Roderick, and when he did, he caught Chad McCumbee and turned Chad into the outside wall.
Watch the contact from McCumbee into that outside wall. You can see Roderick lose the car coming off 2.
The perfect storm there on the inside of that car, got loose. There he is. Watch Mikey Kyle now.
He just gets loose too, Phil. He cut to try to get away from the 51 of Roderick, and it got sideways, and that drove him into the side of McCumbee, and those cars headed into that outside wall hard.
You probably exit the corner here at what, 160, 65 miles an hour, something like that?
Going by the slower lap car, 48 of James Hilton.
But being on the inside of the 32 of Justin Marks, he's going to lose a little bit of the air off that rear spoiler, and he was counting on every bit of air there, and there's the contact in the aftermath between the 25 of Mikey Kyle and the 1 of Chad McCumbee.
And Chad McCumbee didn't see anything coming. He was down at the bottom of the racetrack minding his own business, and Mikey Kyle just tried to get to the inside. Watch the white car ahead. He tries to get to the inside, and sideways he goes.
He was actually committing, it looked like, to go to the outside, and then when Casey got into the outside wall, he just turned that car left.
Watch this real time, how hard these cars run into each other. First the wall, boom.
Really hard contact in the outside wall for Chad McCumbee.
Just happens that fast, doesn't it?
You can see all the damage to that one car, mod space car. Watch this now.
That's concrete he hit.
Just past the safer barrier. There's Casey Roderick climbing out of that car. Casey was going to try to run Kansas and Rockingham the rest of this year. That's a James Finch-owned Phoenix Construction Chevrolet.
This is the one I wanted to see get out. He's the one that really took a hard hit. You can see he's not so happy.
He's disappointed, frustrated.
Yeah, and it was certainly no intention by Mikey Kyle to run into Chad McCumbee.
No, Mikey was just trying to miss a wreck. And
right front tire flat on that race car as he'll make his way, I'm sure, back onto pit road. Looks like they changed the left side tires. They're going to send him back around and continue to work on that race car. So a difficult start to the Chicagoland race for the ARCA Racing Series. The 1, the 25, and the 51 all involved. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by RE/MAX. Find your dream home at RE/MAX.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Under our first caution from Chicagoland Speedway, one of the cars involved, the 25 of Mikey Kyle. Now let's go trackside to Adam Alexander.
And they've made 2 trips down pit road. The first, Rick, was to change left side tires and repair damage on the left front fender. He was also overheating, so they pulled some tape off the grill. Then he came back down. They changed right side tires, and they're going to bring him in a 3rd time to make sure the toe is where it needs to be. Tough break for a driver who entered this race top 5 in points. Jim?
And Craig Ghost, who led us to the green flag here in that Greenville Toyota Camry, slipped back to 7th. They didn't know exactly why, but now as they came down pit road just a moment ago, they looked underneath the car. I went around to the back and I saw a lot of oil between the top of the rear spoiler and the bumper cover. So there's certainly something coming out, oil from the 81. They may bring him back down pit road. They talked about tire pressures and such, but Johnny Allen, the crew chief, a little puzzled as the oil situation, but you can tell, at least to the naked eye on pit road, there is oil covering that back TV panel here on the 81 of Craig Ghost, our race and point leader coming into the race today.
Yeah, huge implications on the points championship because he came into this race, or at least the green flag, leading. Now we're under our first caution, and this is why. That's Casey Roderick in the 51. He gets sideways, slams into the wall.
Then Mikey Cow comes along to try to avoid him. Turns left, runs into Chad McCumbee. Since Chad hardened the outside wall. You know, we've run 11 laps so far, and already 2 of the top 5 in points. We talk about the point battle. 2 of the top 5 already with problems. But James Hilton's not having any problem. He had a birthday yesterday, 76 years old.
How cool is it to be celebrating your 76th birthday by getting a race at a place like Chicagoland Speedway in an ARCA car? And James getting a gift from Aaron back on the lead lap.
At the beginning of this race, we had a problem with the 75 of Benny Chastain. Let's take another look at the start.
Look at the middle of your screen. You see Benny Chastain just jumps in the throttle, and when he does, it just spins the tires and turns right.
You talked about 850 horsepower. That's what it's like trying to drive one of these cars. Just managing to get the gas down wide open is challenging at times. As you can listen to this, Bill, listen. I know that had to shock him that he couldn't get the gas down without spinning those rear tires. The thing just took off on him. That's what these guys are managing, that much power trying to get up to the ground.
On the hook, the 51 of Casey Roderick, not the way he wanted his day to end in Chicagoland. Patrick Sheltra is out in front of the field. Tonight, it's the world's toughest trucks as they battle in the Windy City. Championship points leader Todd Bodine looks to survive Chicagoland Speedway. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Chicago tonight. That's 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed. Todd Bodine will start on the pole with Austin Dillon making up row number 1.
Kyle Busch is in the race. He's going to be in row number 2. He had a fair weekend last weekend.
Kyle Busch. Now, who's that again?
He's a guy. He's actually from Las Vegas.
Okay.
But he's had a little bit of moderate success here in NASCAR.
We had a lot of fun with him last week at Bristol. We made him start in the very back, and I'll be darned if he didn't storm all the way to the front and grab the win.
You see that 7 truck? He finished 5th last week at Bristol.
That's
good run for him. Yeah.
Justin Lofton, the ARCA champion from 2009,
and won this race, this very ARCA race here last year
at Chicagoland, and we're talking about him for a very good reason because he's sitting next to us. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Does it bring back memories when you sit up here and watch it from this perspective of going to victory lane here a year ago?
It does. This is probably one of my favorite racetracks, at least on the ARCA series. This was probably one of the funnest racetracks to go to in an ARCA car, just because it's so fast and so big. And these cars with 850 horsepower just really get around here.
You're saying that because we saw Benny Chastain spin the tires on the start. I understand, that is a justification for that.
Just it makes, when something like that happens, it should remind everybody that this ain't easy. I mean, you've got to be on your game every second of the way, and we saw Casey Roderick slipping around a lot out there. This is a track where you can get really loose too in these corners at high speed.
Yeah, very much so. And I haven't driven one of the cars with the shark fin deals they have on them now, but it really seems like now they really suck around when you get inside someone. They're kind of taking the air off, and with as loose as his car was, it was pretty easy to do that, especially with all the Firestone rubber on the track from IndyCar practice earlier.
There's so many things you have to consider, and the different rubber and that type stuff is something that Casey, as a rookie, probably hadn't even thought of. He needed somebody in there telling him, you got to be easy at the start. Got away from him.
Yeah, Casey only had about 40 laps in his career on a racetrack like this, so a tough learning experience for Casey. Double A, what's going on down there?
And I was just talking to Bill Kimmel, the crew chief, Phil. Frank Kimmel coming to pit road at lap 13, despite the fact that he was riding in the 5th position. But Bill told me the car just way too loose, and they were concerned about that. So they brought him down pit road, made an adjustment, topped him off with fuel, and we will have a very good time watching this car drive through the field. He'll restart outside the top 25.
So he'll have a little bit of work in front of him if he wants to get out front. Now, a year ago, you were in a situation where you and Parker Kligerman, it seemed like you'd win one race and he'd win the other, or you guys would go back and forth. How about the fact we've had 13 different winners in the 14 races this year?
I think that's really cool. I mean, that just goes to show how competitive this series really is. And you know, it was something special last year what me and Parker did, and you know, it was just a lot of fun and something really special and really rare for, you know, any series.
Green flag back in the air at Chicagoland Speedway. Patrick Sheltra, Justin Marks 1 and 2 across the stripe. Steve Arpin, Grant Enfinger, and Rob Brent, your top 5.
See Tom Hessert jump down to the inside about 7th position in the 77 car.
And that's where you're most vulnerable, when you're down on the inside of another car. And these tires have got a little bit of heat in them, so it's going to be better now than it had been before. But you've just really got to be careful anytime you make that commitment to dive to the bottom. You want to pass that guy ahead of you, but because he's holding you up a little bit, but you better just get a deep breath when you go down on the inside.
When we watch the cars make their way into turn number 3 and through 3 and into 4, the sun is right in their eyes. How big of a effect is that on your driving, Justin?
You know, yesterday in truck practice it was really bad, especially about right where the white line is going into 3. That's kind of your target mark to where you're going to drive down to the bottom line, and it's really, really tough to see, as we can see right here on the camera angle. It's you know, it'll affect them for quite a while.
Riding along with Steve Arpin in Mike's Hard Lemonade. Number 55. Arpin's been to victory lane twice this year. He was one of the drivers that was a first-time winner, but then the only multiple winner in the field. Jim Trada, what's going on with that 81?
Well, Steve Arpin did tell me before the race he's worried about Craig Ghost and how strong his number 81 is. They made another pit stop under caution. They just did a track bar adjustment and packed it with the fuel. I could still see the oil on the back. I believe after discussions here in pit road, crew chief Johnny Allen thought perhaps the oil was over full. They did not lift the hood. He's back on the racetrack up to 21st, guys.
Yeah, we saw the problem with the left front, or at least we thought it might be a problem, and it looks like it has gotten worse for Mikey Kyle.
Yeah, that tire is shredding now. I don't think they ever got the clearance that they needed. He's been down on the apron of the racetrack since that tire went down.
You can see a lot of damage to that corner of the car, and like you said, Phil, we watched them leave pit road and the thing was rubbing. So kind of amazing what all you can see from up here that maybe they can't tell when they're down there in the pits, but he had a serious rub and it's blown that left front tire out.
He's made it back to pit road, Adam, and maybe we'll be able to stay green. It didn't look like any of that rubber got on the racetrack.
Yeah, and this is a real disappointment for this race team, Phil, for this very reason. This is the same vehicle that Scott Lagasse drove to victory lane a couple of years ago. So to say this team was optimistic entering tonight's race would be a major understatement. To have their opportunity go away so early like this, no doubt is going to kill their momentum.
Still green flag racing, and out in front it's Patrick Sheltra looking to make it 2 wins in a row. Patrick Sheltra, our most recent winner, coming off that big win at Springfield the last time the ARCA Racing Series was under green. We're still under green here at Chicagoland. Tomorrow, Scott Pruitt and Mima Rojas look to make history. The Rolex Sports Car Series treks north of the border to Montreal. In the Great White North, the 01 team seeks an unprecedented 8th victory. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series live from Montreal tomorrow, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Still under green flag conditions from Chicagoland Speedway for the ARCA Racing Series. And Patrick Sheltra holding on to a 2-second lead over Justin Marks as he was able to put.
There's that battle for second, Rick. Grant Enfinger finally has it over Justin Marks. Ironically, both of those cars had to change engines here this weekend. Both of them did it before qualifying, so they were able to maintain their starting position, but both of those cars had to change engines.
Yeah, and Grant's really been on the move. That car is very fast. He drove around both Justin Marks and Steve Arpin in the last lap or two, got up to that second spot now. So see if he can close in on our leader, Patrick Sheltra.
Patrick Sheltra went by Tom Birdie so fast I couldn't see his number, but that is the first car a lap down. Tony Palumbo, 21st, is the last car on the lead lap. Adam Alexander.
Rick, Phil mentioned a moment ago that Justin Marks changed engines. They did so prior to final practice this morning, but in doing so, they only got a couple of runs on track, so not much track time for them. In the race, he's fighting a loose handling car. The spotter stand telling him, change your line through the center of the corner, and perhaps that will tighten you up.
I like that advice. What do you think, Justin? Is this a track where you can actually move around and make your car handle differently?
Yeah, it definitely is, and I mean you can see it right here. The battle we have going. We've Chad Findlay, that's just out of the screen, is kind of running 2-3 lines up. The 32 and the 55 have kind of been moving around. You can tell their cars aren't handling very good. Last year, the quick way around the place though was right on the bottom. You know, your left front right on the white line, and that's what you know, what did it for me.
Well, I like watching Chad Findlay. He's gone up to the top of the racetrack and made his way around all three of these guys.
You know, guys, yesterday afternoon was the first practice for both ARCA series. As we see Steve Arpin take that position with Justin Marks. Rob Brent, now the 36, is going to try to grab a spot as well. But I saw Chad Findlay running the top of the racetrack in practice. He was working on that upper groove, and as soon as he got a chance to go up there, he's made some moves.
Rob Brent on the bottom of the racetrack in the 36, trying to get by the 32 of Justin Marks. And as Justin Watson just mentioned,
check out
the racetrack fast.
Check out this battle, Rick. Grant Enfinger's just totally charging in on the lead.
It was a 2-second lead that Patrick Sheltra had, just before we went to commercial break, and now all of a sudden it's less than a half a second. And he has got his hands full as Enfinger looking to the outside of Patrick Sheltra.
And remember, Grant Enfinger never has won here in the series. Actually, very few starts, as well as our third place car, Chad Findlay. So we may be headed for another first-time winner.
11 first-time winners already in 2010. Looking to make it 12 potentially at Chicagoland.
Good corner there for Patrick Sheltra, or a bad one for Enfinger, one or the other, because Grant had closed right up on his bumper. And Sheltra drove away from him there in turns 1 and 2. Wonder what that was all about, Phil.
I don't know. Maybe he got tight when he got up to him. How about this? 13 different winners already this year. Our record is in 2007 was 15, and we have 6 races to go.
Side by side, continuing for that battle for 5th. Rob Brent on the inside, Justin Marks on the outside. Looks like Marks is falling back now, and Rob Brent has taken that spot away.
As a race car driver, that's what you like to see, though. You could see Justin Marks. He just went up high. There's enough groove up there, enough grip where he could still run a good pace. He just had to go somewhere else because the inside was occupied.
We know he has 70 laps to go here. He has time. They know we're going to make at least one pit stop to work on this car. You see Tim George Jr. trying to work around the inside of the 16 car of Joey Coulter.
Tim George Jr., another driver that hasn't got that victory.
That's a battle inside the top 10. These guys are running 8th and 9th. Look at that angle, though. Woo. Tim George Jr. made a run up the hill.
Was able to hold on to it. Both drivers still heading the right direction. There you see, you had a pretty good view of that curved backstretch. It's not a straightaway. Curved all the way around as they work their way into 3.
You know, Phil, you talked about 2007 when we had 15 different winners and we're closing in on that record. We had 10 first-time winners of all those different winners in 07. This year we just broke that record with our 11th. So, we got problems.
Into the wall, the 58 of Chad Hockenbraugh.
I was just looking at our monitor. Chad was running in the 7th position, doing a great job here, and unfortunately looks like maybe a right front tire issue.
There's the caution flag finally flew there. ARCA officials put the caution out.
You see Tasty on board as a sponsor. Chad's family makes caramel apples, and in a few weeks when the season really starts, they will be making 20,000 dozen caramel apples every day.
That's a lot of them.
That's a lot of caramel apples.
20,000 dozen.
I would love to be able to do the math in my head, but I can't.
let's call it 240,000.
There we go.
How's that?
I love it.
That's a lot of caramel.
And we got our backup flagman letting us know that we are under caution for the 2nd time. This time it's the 58 of Chad Hockenbraugh that brings it out, and you see the damage to the right side of that race car.
And that's a telltale sign, like you said, Phil, that probably something went wrong in the right front of that car. Probably a right front tire goes down, Rick, because you can see there's no damage anywhere else, but the right front of the hood just all buckled up.
Yeah, Chad has made his way up into the 7th position. He was right in front of that battle with Tim George and Joey Coulter, right in front of that battle.
Oh, look at that.
There it is right there.
That's how violent a tire blowing at 180 miles an hour is, and you and I both have had that happen, huh, Justin?
Oh yeah, and he's definitely lucky he did it going on the entry and not down at the bottom of it, because it's a long ways from the white line up to the wall.
I always seem to blow him about the time I took that left.
Yeah. Got right down to the white line.
Yeah.
Then it turns dead right.
Take another look, real time.
And as we mentioned, Chad was moving towards the front, so It didn't seem like there was a situation where maybe he was really, really tight and falling back. He was making his way forward. Just may have just run over something.
Nick Igdalski gets the Aaron's lucky dog, so he will grab a lap back. He was running 19th, so that'll put 19 cars now on the lead lap. As you see the window net down for Chad Hockenbraugh, and they will pull him out of that race car. He'll have to go to the infield care center.
Phil, me and you'll have to tell Justin we used to race back in the day when the walls were concrete.
Yeah.
Now they put this
no give whatsoever.
They put this cool stuff on them now.
The ARCA series still goes to a couple tracks that have some really hard walls.
Doesn't that get your attention when that happens?
Yeah.
But Justin, these guys used to race when there was bench seats in the cars still.
I don't know about that. I like those big safe seats we have now. It sure makes it easy to walk away from these wrecks.
All right, they really didn't race in those bench seats. And coming on to pit road, Patrick Shelter, who has been out front of this race almost the entire time since the green flag dropped. And we'll go to pit road and Adam Alexander.
And the man you see bottom of your screen, Chad Finley, has been impressive in the first 30+ laps. Started 17th, worked his way to 3rd. Tight is what he said about his race car. 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment. Pitting his truck, or his car rather, Todd Bodine's Truck Series crew. Down to Jim Trado.
And race leader Patrick Shelter comes in, and the number 60 Ferguson Toyota. Again, this is the Toyota for the Shelter team. They're going to do 4 tires and 2 tear-off rips on the windshield. He said the windshield was covered with oil from the Craig Ghost oil down. 4 tires, no changes for the race leader Patrick Shelter, so they think the car is real good everywhere right now. We'll see if they can hold on here in the Ferguson Pipe Enterprises Toyota.
Problems on pit road for Grant Enfinger. See him losing several positions. Came in 2nd.
Yeah, he came in also, Phil, as the fastest car on the track. He closed right up on our leader. Long stop there.
Patrick Shelter was actually 2nd off of pit road, so lost the battle off of pit road. Justin Lofton joining us up in the booth, but we have to say thanks for joining us. We know you have to go to work because tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, it will be the trucks taking on Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, I really thank you guys for having me up here. It's definitely something really special and really cool, and I have something to look forward to next time ARCA cars are running with the trucks.
Got a bit of a roll going. You're 3 of the last 4 races in the top 10, including a couple top 5s. Keep it going tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Our visitpit.com number 7 Toyota Tundra is on a rail, and really proud of all those guys, and gonna go see what we can do tonight.
We're looking for some more first-time winners, Justin, so why don't you add your name to that list in the Camping World Truck Series. When we come back, more green flag racing in the ARCA Racing Series. Wednesday primetime hits the gas on Speed. At 8 on Stealth Rider, Jason Britton takes motorcycle stunning to a new level. Then at 10, 2 different War Machines share a common goal on intersections. It's all new this Wednesday, beginning at 8, only on Speed. Still under our 2nd caution at Chicagoland for the Ansell Protective Gloves 150 for the ARCA Racing Series. Stay with us here on Speed. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Ansell. For over 100 years, the world leader in hand protection. And by #1 rated Scratch Doctor. Keep your car looking great with Scratch Doctor.
Just got a text from David Rudeman, Rick Allen, and he said we're doing a decent job here. He knows a little bit about this track. Likes it really good.
A little bit, yeah.
You getting a little fan feedback? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he loves ARCA racing. He says that the high groove will work for these guys. They just need to commit to it.
There's Rob Brent, our leader. He did not come down pit road. Jim, why didn't Rob Brent come down pit road when he had the opportunity?
For good reason. His crew chief Dave Liner last year before the race told me in 2009 we were in 6th place with 1 to go on the green white checkered and ran out of fuel. I said, what lap did you pit on? He said lap 34. In this race today, all the leaders came down pit road on lap 35, and Dave told me we were 2 laps outside of our pit window, and he also just radioed to his driver and said, hey, you know what? Even if we pit 2 more times from here, we'll have fresher rubber than the rest of these guys. They had great strategy at Pocono and led a bunch of laps. He's hoping perhaps to settle in, maybe even back as far as 5th or 6th to stay with the leaders and in cycle here. But he thinks he's got a really good race car and longer runs too. That's another reason why they elected to stay out here. They weren't quite in their pit window as the initial reason, guys.
19 cars on the lead lap of the Ansell Protective Gloves 150 here on Speed. Stay with us. Green flag about to come out. Welcome back. 40 laps in the books of the Ansell Protective Gloves 150 from Chicagoland Speedway. Rob Brent is out in front. Chad Finley won the race. And how about that? Rob Brent looked as though he was coming to pit road, and then at the very last moment aborted.
Well, he wasn't faking anyone out because everybody else on the racetrack had pitted, so nobody was going to follow him in there. So I'm sure at the last second the crew chief decided they were not going to give one to go. So he said, well, why don't we, if we're going to do this now, we're going to go to the back of the pack anyway. We might as well get an extra lap in it.
That was Bert Thomas up on the flag stand that was holding the yellow flag. They're still cleaning the racetrack. So as they clean the racetrack, we're going to take one more quick break so we can show you more green flag racing here from Chicagoland Speedway. September 5th, with only 2 races to make the chase, things are heating up in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And JR, Kenny, Kyle, Wendy, and Hermie will provide you with the ultimate setup on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Live from Atlanta, Sunday, September 5th at 5 Eastern, only on Speed.
Labor Day weekend, Atlanta Motor Speedway, all the speed team in town to cover the action.
And Rob Brent just coming off of pit road. He made a pit stop. Let's hear from Adam Alexander.
Hey guys, it's Jim. I just thought I'd give you the update. They are obviously now in their pit window. It came down for 4 tires. 1 tire nearly got away on Rob Brent, but they think they've got a very fast race car. No changes except for a little bit of pressure on the right side. So Rob Brent said the car's a bit free down the 1 and 2, a little bit loose in the middle at 3 and 4. So they did a pressure adjustment for what was the race leader Rob Brent after leading 10 laps and then came down within his pit window. This could be it for these guys.
Grant Enfinger also came down pit road and topped off.
And you know, Phil, this, like we said at the start of the race, if these cars are ever going to be squirrely and out of control, it's going to be right now.
Chad Finley bringing the field back to the green flag. He gets in the gas. Right behind him, Patrick Sheltra. We're back underway.
The tire pressures are low, the tires are cold, and when you're down on the inside like Patrick Sheltra is right there, you better watch out.
Patrick Sheltra trying to take the top spot away from Chad Finley. Finley battling back on the outside now.
Remember, we talked about Chad Finley and how he was working that outside groove. He's very comfortable up there.
Patrick Sheltra moving the 29 up the racetrack just a bit. Can he get that top spot back? Finley's got it now.
Remember, David Rudiman said you can use that outside line, can't you?
That's right. He likes it up there. I like what I'm seeing out of the 29 of Chad Finley. He can run up top even on his cold tires. That's a good sign. As the tires heat up and the cars start to want to push, he's in a good line up there to keep his car heading in the right direction.
This Craig Ghost has worked his way back into contention here, right behind the 32 of Justin Marks.
In front of that group, Tim George Jr. in the 31. He's running third. Battle for the lead. Here comes Sheltra again, looking to the inside.
Phil, you know, when you're on new tires, the fast way is generally around the bottom. It's not till you run 6, 8, 10 laps that that top side starts to pay off. And with Finley being that competitive this quickly, you know, this soon on his tires on the high side, I think that bodes well for him in the long run.
And we saw how good he was and how he chased down Patrick Sheltra before the caution flag came out. You can hear these cars hitting the rev limiter. They're limited to 8,800 RPMs. The Mallory ignition system will only allow these engines to turn 8,800 RPMs. They can put whatever gear they want in it, but when it turns 8,800 RPMs, it's going to shut off the cylinder.
So Sheltra now just in front of that 29 of Chad Finley. Finley still battling on the outside, trying to hold on to that top spot. Sheltra looks like he's got him as they go down the backstretch.
Sheltra just felt his way over there, Phil. He went over a little bit, thought it might be clear, and then went a little bit more, and it was. The spotter's obviously up top helping him, making sure he knows that there's a hole there, but when it's that close like it was off 2 there, you want to just ease your way over.
Jim Trano, how's that team doing?
Sheltra's been very sporty in this race car. He finished 2nd in this car at Texas, 3rd at Michigan. And on the screen, you see David Gilliland, an interested spectator and driver coach for Patrick Sheltra here. 1 year ago, Patrick Sheltra brought Ted Musgrave here to Chicagoland. He said, Ted told me something I'm not going to share with anybody else. It makes my car and my line faster. Gilliland, for the first time, is helping out Sheltra in what could be a run to the championship. There's 35 out for this 60 team, who now retakes the lead.
How about David Gilliland on his weekend off here from the Sprint Cup Series, coming up here to Chicago to help Patrick Sheltra?
And how about momentum? Patrick Sheltra gets his first ARCA win this year, last week, and now he's leading the race. There's nothing like getting on a roll, and that's what that team is right now.
Brian Silas on the outside. We see Rob Brennan, the 36, making the pass on Silas. Silas running 13th, actually now drops to 14th because Rob Brent was able to take that 13th position away.
And just in front of those guys, Rick, is Grant Enfinger. He came in the pit late there to top off with gas. Looked like they made a bit of a chassis adjustment too on that car, so he seems to have the pace he had earlier too. He's marching up through the field as well.
Joey Coulter got real loose right there in front of the 22 of Dakota Armstrong. There's Frank Kimmel. That's a battle up in the top 10 for battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Frank's made a lot of progress on that car. Pitted early and it just wasn't running right. Now it looks like he's beginning to make a move toward the front, looking to the inside of Joey off turn 4.
I think Joey's battling a loose condition. He was really loose down in 1 and 2 last time. Looks like Frank has that spot.
Talked about how the bottom of the racetrack, the fastest way around. If you can get the left wheel to hug that white line, you've got a perfect line around this racetrack. Adam.
And keep your eye on the 32 of Justin Marks. We talked earlier in this race about the fact that they changed engines this morning. He just came on the radio, talked about oil pressure, and said, I think we're blowing up. Big time concern in their camp.
That's a tough break for Justin Marks, but I'm telling you, Frank Kimmel is the car on the move. He's going to make his way to the inside of Tim George Jr.
You know, feel this track cooling off, a little bit more shade on it, and Frank getting to pit road and making an adjustment. His experience, that veteran knowledge he has, he was able to tell the team exactly what he needed in order to get better, and he's gotten much better since they threw the green flag on this run.
And we talked about him being a former winner here at Chicagoland.
You know, he's led 173 laps here, and I venture to guess that if you add up laps led by every other driver in the field, including today, it won't equal 173. Frank's the guy that has led 6 of 9 races here in Chicago, and it looks like he's marching toward the lead again tonight.
Grant Enfinger has joined that battle. He works to the outside of Tom Hesser. Ooh, looks like the 22, Dakota Armstrong, had a problem. There's a battle for second.
Steve Arpin on the inside, on the outside of him, and that number 29 is Chad Finley.
And remember, that 29 car is owned by Brad Keselowski. Most of the crew from that car actually went to Montreal to help Parker Kligerman, who drives for Penske, also Brad Keselowski's owner.
Chad Finley way up high on the racetrack and being followed by Steve Arpin as they pass the 70 of Tony Palumbo.
That sun's getting a little bit better getting down in turn number 3.
Shorter amount of time that they have to stare into the sun as it sets here in the Midwest from Chicagoland Speedway. A little smoke rolling out of the 55 of Arpin as we see Shelter out in front. Take a look at our mid-race recap brought to us by Messina Wildlife Management. At the very beginning of this race, Benny Chastain in the 75 has problems keeping the power. And right into the grass he goes.
Lap number 4. Patrick Shelter drives by the 81 of Craig Ghost to take the lead.
Meanwhile, Casey Roderick's been sideways about every lap. And then finally it got away from him.
But takes out, there's Chad McCumbee. He and Mikey Kyle make contact hard into the outside wall for Chad McCumbee. Good news is he's been treated and released from the infield care center.
Mikey Kyle's had problems ever since that wreck, blown tires as a result of it. And watch this tire blow.
That's Mikey Kyle's.
That's Chad Hockenbrock.
That's right, Chad Hockenbrock.
Yeah.
Mikey Kyle's tire had already blown, the left front.
Chad had made his way up into the 7th position.
How violent was that though, Phil? He had his foot on the floorboard and his right front tire just exploded.
Lap 44, the battle for the lead. Chad Finley in front of Patrick Sheltra.
And a couple laps later, Patrick gets a good run off of turn number 4. Down on the inside to take over the lead.
And just moments ago, this. Around goes the 15.
That's Allie Owens. Does a nice job keeping out of the fence.
When in doubt, lock the brakes down, and that's exactly what she did. It got sideways, she couldn't save it, and she didn't try to get fancy with it. She just, once it started going, stayed in the gas a little ways and then decided just to lock it down, and that saved her race car.
Yeah, Tony Palumbo, the 70, did a nice job getting by her, as well as some of these other cars.
Remember when our buddy Dick Beatty used to tell us in the NASCAR drivers meetings, crank her to the left and lock her down. Come in and get you some more tires, and that's exactly what she's doing.
So after we pass the halfway point, we take a look at our race summary. After 60 laps, Patrick Shelter out in front. 5 different lead changes, just under 100 miles an hour for the average speed. 3 cautions for 18 laps. 12 cars are out of the race, 19 still on the lead lap. The Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 52 of Kyle Fowler. So Kyle will get a lap back, and we will be right back here on Speed. Welcome back. The Ansell Protective Gloves 150 from Chicagoland Speedway for the ARCA Racing Series.
Sun setting in the Midwest. Temperatures are going to cool off. These guys will be faced with the challenges of keeping up with this track. It's going to go through quite a transition.
I was already noticing Patrick Shelter was getting faster before this caution flag came out.
There you see Allie Owens on pit road.
She's going to get 15. 4 fresh tires, and probably, is that you think that's a significant chassis adjustment they might be making there, Phil? Maybe putting taking a rubber out of that right rear spring.
Yeah, snugking it up a little bit.
Maybe also could be adjusting a shock. There's so many things when you have a minute or so to work on these cars, these crews can do to change the way they're handling. And obviously Allie's car was really loose. That's why she spun around. So they could have done a lot of work to that car just then.
Bobby Gerhardt in the number 5. What have they been doing, Jim Trado?
Well, they just came down for 2 tires a lap ago, guys. Took right sides only, and as the Lucas Oil Chevy left pit road, boom, pinch for speeding. So he was 10th before the stop. Now he's got to start at the back of the longest line. So Bobby Gerhardt's got his work cut out for him here with a different strategy. Changed 2, but got pinched for speeding exiting. Guys?
Thank you, Jim. And back to the green flag. Patrick Shelter just in front of that 29, and we saw Chad Finley spin the tires. Steve Arpin trying to get by him on the outside. That's a battle for second.
Yeah, Chad Finley lost that momentum. Craig Ghost now was going to try to get to the outside as well when he spun the tires and allowed Steve Arpin just to drive right by. Now Craig Ghost has done the same thing. Moves him back to 4th.
So Chad Finley drops back to the 4th spot. Craig goes up to 3rd. Steve Arpin 2nd. Patrick Sheltra still out front here at Chicagoland.
Chad Finley looked a whole lot like Benny Chastain did on the start. He's just able to save his car. That's what these guys deal with, getting all that power to the ground. Grant Enfinger's not having any problem getting it to the ground. Phil down to the bottom of the racetrack is going to make the move on the inside of Finley. It's going to be hard to complete it, though. Finley's got it wound up there now. Look who's lurking, too.
Chad Finley's committed to that outside line.
44, Frank Kimmel making his way up toward the front. He keeps taking 1 car at a time as he's moved up to the 6th spot.
See Rob Brent now, he's joined this battle right behind the 16 of Joey Coulter. Rob's in that blue car. Remember, he made a late pit stop to make sure he had enough fuel, and in the event we may have a green-white checker finish, he's made his way back up into the top 10, right now being shown in the 8th spot.
What a great battle. You know, we saw in qualifying how closely matched all these cars were. Speeds really close to one another, and it's evident now. We're looking at the first 6 or 8 guys all racing bumper to bumper. Just a few car lengths separating all of them, and some of them are side by side. As you can see there, Enfinger's still looking to the bottom trying to get that move made.
Boy, a great restart by the 55 of Steve Arpin. How are they doing, Adam?
Very good. Steve Arpin happy under the caution, talking to the crew, and Billy Venturini assured him he is good as far as fuel is concerned, so don't expect him to be in conservation mode. He will go full throttle and try to run down the leader, Patrick Shelton.
Steve Arpin got his first win in the ARCA Racing Series earlier this year at Salem, and then backed it right up with a win at Texas in the very next race.
He's the only guy that messed it up all year, is the only repeat winner.
And he tried to mess it up at Texas. He crashed on the 3rd or 4th lap, and they somehow put that thing back together, and he grabbed the victory. Oh,
they stay side by side. Enfinger on the inside in the 09.
It's amazing, those 2 cars running side by side. Ooh, you see the 29 of Chad Finley get a little bit loose. That stalled his momentum enough to allow Grant Enfinger to get down by him. But while they were running side by side, they were still catching the 81 of Craig Ghost.
And so what Enfinger's going to do is probably try to look to the inside of Ghost, but Finley's not giving up on the high side. And it looks like Enfinger's car is a little bit loose down there on the bottom of the racetrack, so he needed to clear Finley, and he just wasn't quite able to do it.
Continues to work the bottom of the racetrack as Grant Enfinger. They're reeling in that 81 of Craig Ghost just in front of him. Now Chad Finley trying to clear the 09. It looks as though he's got the spot, but Grant Enfinger working back on the bottom of the racetrack.
These guys better not forget about Frank Kimmel in that 44 car.
See that 29 working the high side, trying to get by Craig Ghost.
I think Grant Enfinger will go right up there with Chad Finley when they get down to turn 1 and follow him around the outside of Ghost.
There he goes to the outside. Craig Ghost aware that there gives them room.
Enfinger able to make the pass as well. Here comes the 44 now of Frank Kimmel. So Ghost has dropped back to the 5th position. 6th is Frank Kimmel. Still a very loose car for the 09 of Grant Enfinger.
Remember, that's our point leader, the 81 of Craig Ghost. We talked to him right before the race started. Frank Kimmel was leading coming in. By virtue of qualifying, Craig Ghost leapfrogged him. 5 points ahead of Frank coming in. Right now, 1 position ahead of Frank. That would be another 5 points.
Patrick Sheltra working around the slower lap traffic, trying to stay in front of that 55 of Steve Arpin.
You see Arpin here around the outside. You can see the leader just up ahead of him. He likes his car, Phil. Listen to the in-car radio we heard from him just a minute ago.
There you go. Come on. Still there. Clear, clear, clear. Nice job. Let's go. Get these 2 up here. We got a race car.
We got a race car. We got a race car. He likes what he's got, and he's using what he's got to try to run down the leader. But Patrick Sheltra is strong. Last time by, got a spin.
Oh, it's Rob Brent.
Brent, it looks as though maybe made contact with the wall, but he slides to a stop. That's coming out of turn number 2.
Rob had made his way up to the 7th position.
So the 4th caution of the night has come out, this time for the 36 of Rob Brent.
Rob came in here 10th in points, got his first career win earlier at Pocono. See, the left front tire's flat, but he has a lot of problems larger than that with all the damage to the rear of that car.
Backed it into the wall.
Hard into the outside wall, it looks like.
So winding down this race, we had just 28 laps to go, and now we take a look at why we're under our 4th caution.
Oh, he's already sideways when he comes into our view. Then he's going to make contact with the outside. Well, looked like he was all by himself, Mikey.
And right down on the bottom of the racetrack, too. Usually, if you've got one tucked down that far, you're not going to spin out. It means you're just coming off the track straight, coming off the turn straight. You can see there, it just broke loose with him on exit. No one around, like you said. Heads up driving there.
Joey Coulter.
By Joey Coulter, he was able to get off the gas, not make any abrupt move, get to the bottom, and make his way clear of that accident. Jim, what are they saying in the pit? It got trouble.
Well, Rob Brent actually just said, I think we're done, boys, but his crew chief said, bring it down pit road. They're trying to eye 8th or even 7th in the point standings here. They worked their way through the field as we talked about, but unfortunately for Rob Brent, he said, I don't know what happened coming off. It just snapped around on me. Something might have broke on this race car, but certainly disappointed with his run as he got a lot of damage in the rear. The crew is going to send him back out.
And so under our 4th caution for the ARCA Racing Series. Stay with us here on Speed. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. Green flag just came out. Patrick Sheltra was in front, and Steve Arpin has been able to get by and take that top spot away.
He told his crew he liked his car. Boy, he knew what he was talking about. What a nice move on the restart.
Check out how he did it. What a great restart. He was lined up perfectly when they threw the green flag, and when they got to turn 1, he just went to the outside, Phil.
Just drove right by him. Patrick Sheltra protected the bottom. Steve Arpin had it wound up and drove by him on the outside. Had several cars make pit stops during that caution flag. Craig Ghost came in. Joey Coulter, Dakota Armstrong, Chad Finley all came down pit road at him.
And Phil, just to add more on what you said about Steve Arpin, he continued under that last caution to praise his car. The crew reminded him, remember how good it was when you got clean air at Texas, encouraging him to get the lead. He got it, but it looks like he's got company at the front once again. Here comes Sheltra.
Sheltra moving to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to take that top spot back. He does. So Sheltra grabs the position away from Steve Arpin.
Strong move by Patrick Sheltra.
He must really like his car. That was a really strong move. And you know, Phil, I like that strategy of some of those guys pitting and getting tires. We could see here Steve Arpin can't do anything with Sheltra, and he was right up on him. If I'm some of the guys in the back, I want to change some tires, maybe make an adjustment, try to get up there where I can race them.
Chad Finley is the first one of those cars. He's already up to the 7th position, the first one of the cars that came down pit road.
So it's Patrick Sheltra, Steve Arpin, Grant Enfinger, Frank Kimmel running in the 4th spot. Justin Marks is 5th.
What about our 9-time champion leading the points when we got here? And as they run right now on the track, he's your point leader again. And does he know how to race for a championship or what? Hadn't been able to get to victory lane yet this year, but just consistent finishes has him right in the thick of this championship battle again.
Side-by-side racing, Brian Silas on the outside, Bobby Gerhardt on the inside. Riding along with Joey Coulter, he's got a good view of this battle. Trying to figure out which line he's going to take to get by that 11 of Brian Silas.
Check out this group racing hard off turn 4 down into turn 1.
All battling for position. Bobby Gerhardt, the 5. There's Joey Coulter, the 16.
Hey, watch this guy, Phil. We talked about the 29 coming through the field with those fresh tires and those adjustments. How about this move?
Wow, just didn't quite clear the 35 of Tom Birdie.
He thought he had enough momentum he could scare his way through there, and he just came up a little bit short, but at least he kept going the right direction.
Another guy that came onto pit road, his most recent caution, the 81 of Craig Ghost, and it looks like that stop has worked out for him, Jim.
Well, guys, Craig Ghost actually complained about the car being a bit too tight, so they came down, put 4 tires on, changed it with the right rear track bar adjustment for Craig Ghost, who came up to 4th. He came down pit road. Now he's challenging his way back in through the top 10 up to 7th. Also coming on pit road during that caution was the 16 of Joey Coulter. The Ripon Energy Fuel Chevrolet has been loose all night long. They did another wedge adjustment that Harold Holly and crew chief put on 4 tires, fuel and a track wedge adjustment as well, track bar as well for Joey Coulter, as he's now challenging for the 10th position with Bobby Gerhardt on the racetrack.
He was able to get by Bobby Gerhardt to take over the 9th position.
We were just riding along. We saw the 7 of Kent Schinkel going another lap down, but Kent Schinkel said this is his last race, his last hurrah.
Last one, 60 years old, said he's had a blast. He's always wanted to do this. He got a chance to do it, and this is it.
Was he any kin to Chris Schinkel?
He is. He absolutely is related to Chris Schinkel. I mean, his uncle and Chris Schinkel's grandfather were brothers or something like that, but he's definitely related.
Have you ever heard anyone call a bowling match any better than Chris
Never. Him and Bo Burton. How about him and Bo Burton?
Patrick Sheltra up in front. He's a second ahead of Steve Arpin as we head back to this sport. Grant Enfinger, Frank Kimmel, Justin Marks, your top 5. We've got 16 on the lead lap.
And we've also got this 09 car, Rick. He just keeps closing his way down on these 2 leaders. Grant Enfinger was the fastest car on the racetrack last time by, and he's been that way consistently recently. And you can see he's caught Arpin, and just ahead of Arpin is Sheltra. So they're going to hear from Enfinger before this checker flag falls.
I know how hungry he is. He's had several runner-up finishes, several third-place finishes. Doesn't have the funding to run a full schedule, but when he shows up, he's extremely competitive.
11 different first-time winners in 2010 in ARCA. How competitive is this series?
That's amazing.
Grant Enfinger would love to add his name to that list. He's currently in the 3rd spot behind Patrick Sheltra and Steve Arpin.
There's only been 14 races. I mean, it's 11 different first-time winners out of 14 races.
And 13 different winners out of those 14 races. Only Steve Arpin has been able to get to victory lane twice.
Patrick Sheltra would like to add his name to the list of going to victory lane twice in 2010. He's currently leading this field.
There's Craig Ghost following the 32 of Justin Marks. Craig right now being shown in the 7th position. Frank Kimmel being shown in the 4th position. That would mean right now, I think, if the race were to end, well, now Craig Ghost gets by Justin Marks. So I think right now, if the race were to end, we know that Craig Ghost has led this race. So he would get 5 bonus points for leading this race. That would put them dead even.
Which would be pretty good.
Yeah.
And we saw an oil leak in that car from right at the start. Our point leader with an oil leak right off the bat. It looked like things could be doom and gloom for that team, but he was able to keep it going. Look at this lead tightening up, Phil.
Sure is. Patrick Shelter took a little extra time getting by Jarek Johnson in the 76 car.
Steve Arpin running that higher line, as is the 09 of Grant Infinger.
Just a few moments ago, Rick, Patrick Shelter came up on that 76 car we were talking about with Jarek Johnson. There's Kent Shingle, the 7.
Just couldn't figure out which way those guys were going to go.
29 of Chad Finley. Looks like he's slow on the racetrack because the motor is no longer working for Finley. He blew the motor, and so the flag coming out. Bert Thomas giving us our yellow flag, and Chad Finley will try to coast back to pit road. You see the engine expiring there as he went by the front stretch.
Yeah, pretty much in a big way.
Yeah, as Kenny Schrader would say, something inside that engine that was fairly important isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
So a difficult situation for Chad Finley. He will roll all the way around the racetrack, and bringing out our 5th caution as Finley was running in the 5th spot.
I like the way that dude raced tonight. He used up every inch of this racetrack to make moves on the inside and outside, and was having a great run, but didn't quite make it to the finish.
When we restart, we'll be inside of 10 laps of racing remaining. So it's going to be a sprint to the checkered flag. Sheltra, Arpin, Grant Infinger, Frank Kimmel, and Craig Gose are your top 5. Justin Marks, Tom Hessert, Joey Coulter, Bobby Gerhart, and Brian Silas rounding out our top 10.
We're going to see if Steve Arpin can get the kind of restart he did last time to drive by Patrick Sheltra down in 1 and 2. I'm telling you, racing is not going to end with this ARCA race here. We're going to go straight into our setup show with Chris Devoda, and then we're going to have some serious truck racing here.
Door to door, bumper to bumper. Every now and then they'll make a little contact with each other, maybe a wall.
They're definitely going to trade paint.
Absolutely.
They will trade a little paint. That's the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's coming up next here on Speed. Guys have been enjoying practice over the past 2 days, and then we had the multiple truck qualifying earlier today, getting everyone ready for tonight's race. The 15 of Allie Owens gets the Aaron's lucky dog, so Allie getting a lap back.
We saw Allie spin out a number of laps ago. She stuck with it, got that car back to pit road, put some tires on it. Now is going to get the lucky dog.
So
good for her.
Her fortunes have gone up since that big spin and didn't make any contact. Now lucky, the Aaron's lucky dog got her back on the lead lap.
That's the critical thing. Didn't make any contact, Michael. Kept all the fenders on that car.
Sun about to set here on Chicagoland Speedway. We will be under the lights shortly as we're winding down the laps. 11 to go now.
Just a beautiful setting here in the Midwest. This Speedway came to the circuit in 2001, and at first it was a track where you had to run right around the bottom of the racetrack and all kinds of grip, just crazy speed. And now you run up high and low, but guess what? All that crazy speed is still there. We set a track record just today in qualifying.
Can we see another first-time winner? Can Grant Infinger get up there and make it another first-time winner?
Hey, that's us.
You guys, we don't rarely get on camera, but this is good that we're getting shot from pit road.
There's Russell over there on the right side.
That's Russell. He's the smart one in the group.
Yeah, he's the one that when we talk like we know what we're talking about.
That's right.
Russell's the one that's giving us that information.
Yeah, he's got a pretty nice house too.
What do you think, Grant Infinger? Do you think he's going to be able to get up there and be another first-time winner?
I think he has a shot, but I'm telling you, I like the way Patrick Sheltra's car looks.
Well, that move that Patrick Sheltra made back around Steve Arpin, that proved to me that he's got the car to beat. But Infinger was creeping in on him. Can he make a good restart here and jump on him?
10 laps of racing to go. Sheltra, then Steve Arpin as the green flag flies once again.
Slow restart by Infinger.
That could be the difference. He does still have 10 to go, so he could close in, but darn, needed to be right on the back of Arpin as they came on that restart of this race, because he knew how strong Arpin was.
I think Patrick Sheltra learned from that last restart. I think he drove that thing through 1 and 2 a little bit harder, didn't allow Arpin to get to his outside.
Back down to the bottom of the racetrack, both of the cars up front. Patrick Sheltra and Steve Arpin hugging that white line through 3 and 4 now, and then back through 1 and 2.
Inside of 10 laps to go, Rick. 9 laps to go to decide this one.
Sheltra looking for back-to-back wins. He won on the dirt at Springfield the last time the ARCA Racing Series was running.
That's got to be pretty cool to go to the dirt in Springfield and get a victory. That's a famous track, and I know it had to mean the world to Patrick. And then he leaves there and comes to a big, fast, high-bank track like Chicago and is trying to put another one in the book. Back-to-back from dirt to super speedway. That's pretty impressive.
I don't know if there could be any two tracks any more different than Springfield, Illinois, and Chicagoland Speedway. They're both in Illinois. That's where the similarity ends.
Steve Arpin running second now. Grant Enfinger has closed in on the back bumper of that 55.
Sheltra is able to open up a little distance on Steve Arpin.
If we could have got the start we wanted to in that 09 car, I believe he's got something for Patrick Sheltra, but just trying to get around the 55 of Steve Arpin and get to Sheltra could be a little tough considering didn't get the start he needed.
And it means so much for that young driver to see the leader right there in front of him. We're inside of 10 laps to go. We have 7 laps to go, and he can taste it. He can see that leader about 6-8 car lengths in front of him.
If it just wasn't for this one guy between me and him, I would go get him. But he can't do anything with Arpin. Maybe a different line. You know, we saw Chad Finley go up high and make some ground, but it looks like that Enfinger's car is good right on the bottom of the racetrack, just like Arpin's is. And you know, Phil, Arpin being in his groove, it takes away some of the downforce off the front of that car that he really needs in order to be able to run the perfect lap time. You know, you deal with that all the time unless you're the leader like Sheltra is. There's always air that you're dealing with, but sometimes it affects your car more than it does others. And that's why it's important to be able to make moves and be able to go somewhere where no one else is running.
Patrick Sheltra out in front when they come by the stripe this time. It'll be 5 laps of racing to go from Chicagoland. Sheltra, Arpin, Enfinger, Kimmel, and Ghost, your top 5. That's the closest battle on the track, at least to the top 5.
Sheltra beat Arpin by half a second that lap. Now Steve Arpin, I think, is concerned with that 09.
Here comes Enfinger looking to the inside. Battle for second. Arpin to the high side. Enfinger coming to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to take it away. Slower lap traffic. That's James Harvey Hilton in the 48 down at the bottom of the racetrack. Maybe Grant Enfinger had to check up just a bit.
Man, that was a big break right there for Patrick Sheltra. The longer those two run side by side, the bigger his lead's going to get. Looked like that Steve Arpin was really aggressive of getting down into turn 3 and not letting Grant Enfinger complete that pass. Does the same thing in turn 1 and 2, and Enfinger has to give up.
Enfinger drops back to the 3rd spot. Steve Arpin holding on to that 2nd position.
Saw a good battle for 6th on the right side of your screen just a minute ago. That was Justin Marks, Tom Hessert racing for the 6th spot. Marks has it for now.
This time by 3 laps of racing to go. Patrick Sheltra looking for win number 2 in 2010. It'd be career win number 3 for Sheltra. See Joey Coulter chasing the 77 of Tom Hessert. Hessert chasing that 32 of Justin Marks. Battle for second continuing to heat up. Here comes Enfinger once again. Now with just 2 laps to go before the checkered flag. Enfinger trying to make a hard push for that 2nd position.
He made that move off turn 2 last time, Phil, and couldn't quite finish up the pass. Ran across a little bit of lap traffic with James Hilton. That might have hurt him on the last attempt to make the pass, but Arpin just dives hard into the corner.
He has so much more of the racetrack to work with. Grant Enfinger has to be careful. He loses that ground through the center of the corner that time.
Patrick Sheltra now with a 1.6 second lead over 2nd place Steve Arpin. Sheltra wants to hold on for another 1.5 miles and get the victory here at Chicagoland. White flag in the air, 1 to go. Patrick Sheltra wants to have a mistake-free last lap as we see Tom Hessert working to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by that 32 of Justin Marks.
We've talked about this point battle, guys. Any position you can grab if you're inside that top 5 could be the difference between leaving here with the point lead and not. We've seen it switch during qualifying, so I know how important this race is.
Things are tightening up. Patrick Sheltra will win at Chicagoland.
Steve Arpin. Here's that battle for 6 right here. Justin Marks looks like he's going to get it.
Marks takes the 6th spot away from the 77 of Tom Hessert. So Sheltra, Arpin, Infinger, Frank Kimmel comes home fourth. Now, you look at the point standings, the top four separated by 25 points.
That's amazing.
Success out of the 60 team. Back-to-back wins. The diversity of the series going from a mile dirt track to a 1.5-mile super speedway, and Patrick Sheltra will go to victory lane at both racetracks.
That says a lot for the, we talk about these drivers having the diverse skills to be able to make that kind of accomplishment or accomplish that. What about this team? They had to figure out how to build a car to go around a dirt track and then come to a big high-speed super speedway. That's probably the most impressive part of all that.
It really is. John Wolf and his guys did such a great job here the last 2 weeks, 2 in a row for Patrick Sheltra.
Second repeat winner on the season. Steve Arpin won back-to-back Salem and Texas. Now Patrick Sheltra goes back-to-back Springfield and Chicagoland. Sheltra will celebrate, and then he'll make his way to victory lane. When he gets to victory lane, we'll be there to talk to our most recent winner in the ARCA Racing Series. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Burger King, who remind you to have it your way. By Messina Wildlife Management. Stop animal damage with Messina Wildlife Management. And by Aaron's. Everyone's a lucky dog at Aaron's. And moments ago, Patrick Sheltra climbs out of the race car for the second time in 2010 in victory lane. And now let's go down to victory lane.
The shouting continues here. Patrick Sheltra, unbelievable race. Craig Ghost had the fast car in practice and testing. You guys put it on him today. Talk about this victory here at Chicagoland. First super speedway win for you.
Yeah, the team did a real good job today. We didn't come here and test, so we struggled a little bit in practice there, and we had a good car all day. And we knew we were fast and everything else, but we decided to prove it to them in the race there. And I want to thank everybody. I really want to thank my mom and dad and Lauren, everybody at home watching this. I love y'all. I don't know what to say, man. It's the first one here, and it's pretty awesome.
You had experience on the dirt. You had a great pass there. Talk about that last restart with, again, Enfinger right behind you and Arpin coming hard.
Yeah, I just tried not to spin the tires there because it was pretty easy to do on old tires. So we just had to keep it underneath us, and we knew once we got in clean air, we were good to go.
Indeed, the smiles here for Patrick Sheltra, winner here at Chicagoland in the ARCA Racing Series.
Take a look at our unofficial results from today's 100-lap race at Chicagoland.
Great effort again by Grant Enfinger. Just runs part-time, but shows up very, very competitive. Frank Kimmel with another solid top 5. Craig Ghost had some problems early, fought back to a top 5 finish.
Second 10, Dakota Armstrong in 11th. Kyle Fowler, Kyle Martell, 12th and 13th. Allie Owens spinning on the racetrack, but battling back to a 14th place finish.
Mikey Kyle, top 5 in the points coming in, drops to 7th with the 25th place finish after being involved in that wreck early in the going.
There's Casey Ryder, came in here, qualified 3rd early in the race, got loose, got sideways, got into the outside wall.
All smiles in victory lane as we see Patrick Sheltra celebrating with his team. Now let's